Okay, we're getting a good start here, maybe hopefully a few more people wander in. We have our wonderful guest here who is Danielle Igbanugo. Igbanugo. Close. I have to look at it in order to say it because it's a long name. Anyway, she is going to explain about this incredible project that they've been doing for the last 3 years, and I just turn it over to her. I was telling her some about our experience with back extra schools and tiny homes and food shelf, and told her we have a strong interest in this kind of stuff. So she's going to have a good question and answer period afterward too. So
thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And thank you for having me. So I'm going to try to go through this incredible testimony that I still can't wrap my head around. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Okay. So this started for me 10 years. Well, it's 13 years ago now. I was downtown and I had given a man experiencing homelessness had asked me for money, told me he was hungry. And so I reached into my purse and I gave him money, and he was outside the mall. So I started walking and I forgot something, and I came back to the mall. And when I came out, he was in a corner with his friends counting wads of money and laughing. And I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, "You told me you were hungry. Can I have my money back?" He's like, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Yes, that was deceitful. I want my money." And he gave it back to me. But after that, I swore off. I said I would never help anyone who asked me for money on the street again. And as God would have it, 3 months later, I was on a sidewalk cafe with a girlfriend, and a gentleman experiencing homelessness walked up to me and asked me for money. And my girlfriend said, "Don't do it, Danielle. How many times, I mean, you learned your lesson." But the Holy Spirit nudged me, and I had a wallet full of change. And I said, I don't have any cash, but I'll give you all of the change in my wallet. And I gave him the change. We had dinner. A couple hours later, we were walking back to our car and I saw the man carrying groceries. And it was at that point that God told me that it's not for you not to give. You need to be obedient, and the rest is up to me. And what they do with the money is between God and them. My part is to be obedient and give. And so that I did not realize was the start of something. And so one day I was on a prayer line, and they talked about going out into the world and doing something. And I asked God, I prayed, I said, "What do you want me to do? I feel this nudge." So I called the Basilica of St. Mary, and they said, there's 3 big needs. There's housing, and interview clothes and coats. And I was led to coats. So I started going to homeless shelters, and it was called Coated in Love. And I would go once a year and bring coats for kids. So coats, hats, mittens, and then sometimes I'd give away backpacks or blankets. But I would set up a free store, and their parents would have to stay on the other side of the door, because all the coats were warm, but the parents wanted to pick for the kids. But I wanted the kids to have something that they liked. So I assured the parents, whatever it may be, I don't know what it's gonna look like, but they're gonna love it. They picked it out, and it's gonna be warm. So that went on for 9 years. I would just pray on which shelter to go to, and God would guide me. So the 10th year, I was driving in my car, and this was 3 years ago. And the Holy Spirit, I don't know how to explain that. It was a quick vision, and I knew God was telling me it's time to do something different. And I knew that the assignment was to introduce and reintroduce people experiencing homelessness to Christ. And I just knew it in my heart. And I also knew somehow that it was gonna be in the winter, and quick glance of a big place full of people. So I thought, okay, I have a very tiny nonprofit with $30 in the bank. I've never done anything like this on this level, like, God, are you sure? So I asked him to show me, if this is really you, please show me what you want me to do. So he gave me the name. It was 3,000 Acts of Kindness. And I thought, okay, this is good. And I knew that, again, the assignment was to share the gospel. So my very first donation were 3,000 Bibles from Time to Revive. And I'm like, okay, this is adding up. And so then I started to look for places. And the first place I called was the convention center, the Minneapolis Convention Center. And they said, we have one date available and it's in December. And I knew it was supposed to be in the winter. So I asked her if I had never been to the Minneapolis Convention Center. I asked her if I could come down and see it. I went down and saw it, and she opened the door and I just started crying. And she said, why are you crying? Don't you like it? I said, no, I saw it. This is the room. This is the place. God showed me this. And so we continued to talk. And so it came time. She's like, okay, well, it's available. And the room is $18,500. And I was like, God, I know this is the place, but I know that 18,000. And so I prayed about it, and she called me back and she said, well, Danielle, there's a grant you can apply for. So I did. And she returned my call and said, guess what? You got the grant. Now you just owe $11,000. And I knew I had a number in my head that I could take out of pocket. And God knew what the number was. So that was on a Thursday. On Monday, I got an email saying, you know, Danielle, I was thinking about this, and I'm going to give you the room for the exact number that I had. So I knew God, this was what he wanted me to do. So here we go. I have no experience. I have the place now, and then I start to pray for a team. I know I can't do this alone, but I know this is what he wants me to do. So one by one, they start coming. An accountant, administrative person, a event planner. And so all of these people, he started to build this team. And there's an IT person, a team of 9 of us. So we decided, what is 3,000 Acts of Kindness going to be? And it is a one-day event for people experiencing homelessness. And our mission is to share Christ and do it in a way with love, dignity, and respect. And so we thought, this is going to be top of the line. This isn't going to be like, you know, a lot of times when they're getting stuff that's crammed in a room or it's cold outside and there's not really any dignity to it. You just kind of take what you get and it's move on. So I met with a group of people experiencing homelessness, and I asked them, tell me what it is that you need, and or how you feel about us coming in. What would you want us to do? And my biggest takeaway from that meeting was that they feel like they're not noticed. They go unseen. They're very, very lonely. People don't look them in the eye. People don't pay attention to them. They walk past them. Sometimes they toss money, sometimes they don't, but they're not seen. So I went back to my team and I said, one thing that we have to do is we have to make sure that they are seen for our event. And so at our event, you are paired with a buddy, and it's a volunteer, and that volunteer helps you navigate the convention center. And then Chick-fil-A provides lunch. So you can sit down and have lunch with your buddy and just kind of get to know them and what their story is. And the stories are incredible. I mean, I know people have their ideas about people experiencing homelessness. Maybe they're on drugs, or maybe they just don't want to work, but that is so not the case. The last woman I talked to, her parents left her house, but she didn't have insurance and the house caught on fire. She had nothing, so she ended up being homeless. So there's so much misfortune, but so let me tell you about 3,000 Acts of Kindness. They come in, they are offered a complimentary haircut, coats, hats, mittens, toiletries, a Bible, prayer, lunch, foot care, massages, chair massages, chiropractic, clothes, shoes, but the most important, so in the middle of the room, we always have a cross, and we light the cross up and we have Bibles around it. And so that's a place where people can come and be prayed. And so many people have given their life to Christ, and people who typically no one is ever praying for, they get to, be prayed for that day. But we also offer access to social service agencies. So there's about 60 social service agencies. We've had people go to treatment. We just had a pregnant woman, this last one, go from our event to treatment to get help. We've had people get jobs. We've had people do all these, every resource they need is under one roof, because it's hard to get from place to place when you're experiencing homelessness. So the day is a day for them. We also this year had people on stage from some of the agencies like Teen Challenge, the Christian agencies, and they were on stage giving their testimonies, how they themselves got out of homelessness. And so they shared it, they were able to share it with our guests. So the first year we had 900 people. The second year, we had 2,700 people, we call them our guests. And this past year, which was December 11th, we had over 3,000. We had 615 volunteers. But it is an unbelievable, amazing event. And so I was talking to my team the other day, and I said, let's just think about what God has done here with 3,000 Acts of Kindness. First, let's talk about our team. He has directed our steps here. He has answered prayers beyond anything. We would pray for something as a group. We prayed for a warehouse because we were in a storage. And all of a sudden, some guy who has a 17,000-foot warehouse said he wanted to donate space. Only God. We didn't know anyone with the warehouse. So he answered our prayers. And for our guests, he's provided for them on a level we could not have imagined. They have been prayed over and prayed with and received Christ. They've received help and the resources they need. Our volunteers are from the suburbs. A lot of them have never seen anything like this. I hadn't seen anything like this. And so it's an opportunity for them to serve in a safe place. God has put it on their heart to work with people experiencing homelessness so they can come down there. They don't have to deal with someone off of the street. They know where their resources are going to. They're going to the things that they need. Into churches. Churches are working side by side with each other. Churches that never would have, Lutheran, Baptist, Catholic, non-denominational. We're all working together. And I was listening to my pastor one day, and he said, wouldn't it be something if the answer to eradicating this homelessness problem was in the church? Would that look imagine how amazing that would look to people who are not Christians, that the church can come together and love a group of people that otherwise goes unseen and offer them the help and the love and light of Christ. So that's what we're doing. This is our third year. I wanted to tell you about the event before I show you a short clip. It's a lot to explain, but I think you'll kind of get an idea of the event from this couple-minute video. Then after that, I will open it up. If you have any questions or if you'd like me to explain anything, I'd be happy to do that.
This event is about helping those that are in need, that maybe are experiencing homelessness or on the verge of, and it's giving them opportunities to get some free stuff. But I think the real thing that they need is the agencies that are in there to get the resources that they need to kind of help them outside of beyond this event.
You can get something free like jackets, socks, underwears, anything that you like you can find here.
Ever since I come in, it's only been kindness and nice stuff going on. Oh man, this is beautiful.
So this event is about love. It's about the love of Christ. It's about sharing the love of Christ. It's about showing the love of Christ. And really, that's what we do. That's the most important thing. Like the coats, the hats, and the hoodies, and that, they need that to survive. But to live, they need the love that the light of Christ.
Gives me everything that I need that I couldn't have gotten elsewhere. So, and for free.
There are thousands of people here, and we could not have done this without the help of our sponsors, the help, the donations, the prayers. Every single thing counts. 3,000 acts of kindness, that's what it is.
So the group there at the end, that's my team. That's who I work with. That's the group of 9 of us that start working on this. We've already started for December's event. So God did all this. I watch this, it makes me tear up because I did not do any of this. This is all Christ. God did everything. He sent every donation, every volunteer, everything. And when I'm in the room and when I see it, I just think this was a seed you placed on my heart and you did the rest. So it's incredible the work that he's doing. And this year we're gonna try to add transportation and reading glasses. So last year we added dentistry and the testimonies and what else did we add? The chiropractic. So God will, he'll download, he'll say, let me know what else I need to do. And then that's what we focus on that for the year. So I think transportation is a big part of it this year because there are so many different encampments and homeless shelters, both in St. Paul and Minneapolis and the surrounding suburbs. And the hard part is to get there. So right now we offer bus tokens. So if they can get there, we can give them a token to get back, but it has to be on a bigger level than that. Just because the amount of things that they're able to put in there, we also give big backpacks that they can put all their stuff in that they get from the event and carry it, but they gotta be able to get back to wherever they're going. So that is 3,000 acts of kindness. So I'm open for any questions if you have any questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for what you're doing, obviously, and I'm just wondering, not to adjust my hearing aid. I'm wondering if you're familiar with or work with the Catholic Charities Listening House. I know they have the church I previously belonged to. We would go down there and bring supplies of toiletries and just be available to, or at least I would be available to converse with people there. They serve people on the streets in St. Paul, the one I know, maybe they will have one in Minneapolis too, I don't know that. but I'm wondering if you're familiar with them at all.
I'm not familiar with them, but we do work with Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities has one of the agencies that sets up a booth. And then we also give out invitations. So we go to the shelters and hand out invitations. We make an invitation that says you and a guest are invited. And we go pass those invitations out. So we have gone to a lot of different Catholic charity places, but I'm not quite familiar with that one that you're talking about in St. Paul. Thank you, I will get familiar with it though.
Had to move a couple of years ago. They had a building downtown. I'm not quite, I've been retired for so long now. I don't exactly know where they're located now.
Okay. Well, I'll find them. Yeah, no, thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah.
I was wondering about invitations, so you started talking about that, so how do your guests find out about this event?
So, right, at this point, it's kind of, they know about it, so when we send out the invitation, so I send them to all the agents, to all the shelters. And I send them to social workers and people who work with people experiencing homelessness, and then I drive from shelter to shelter to shelter and invite them personally to come down and join us. So Channel 9 was there this past event. The event starts at 9 a.m. So she asked me to meet her there at 6:30 for an interview. I was there at 6:30 and she said, Danielle, I have been going through this line. The line was, I don't know if you've ever been in the convention center, but it is huge. She said a lot of people have been here since 2:30 in the morning. So the lines were miles long all day. It doesn't stop. And they wait in line for a very long time and they're very patient. So now we've started to give water and snacks away because you're in line for three or 4 hours. So yeah, they're telling their friends about it, and so they're showing up. Yeah.
So is it kind of like an assembly line?
No, it is, so you have to register. You have to come in and register. So the line to register, because what happens is you'll get a bracelet. And that bracelet affords you one of everything so that we don't have people coming back for multiple different things. So let's say you want a coat. Once you get your coat, your bracelet will be scanned. So you can't come back and get another coat because your bracelet won't work. So once you get into the ballroom, there are several different stations. So you can go have lunch, you can decide to go get coat or get your feet cared for. You have the option and you can spend all day, and they do. And so usually a buddy navigates with them and says, well, hey, do you need mental health treatment? Let's go visit this agency, or do you want to grab lunch, or do you need your haircut? Or so they can kind of walk around and do their stations is what they are.
Do you do like a worship service part of it at all?
We do. So outside of the testimonies, we praise and worship music. That's what's going on throughout we have a band, a praise and worship band and there's also in the middle of the convention center, we have a huge cross, it's probably 12 feet tall. We circle it with lights, and there's Bibles. We put Bibles in a circle and give them away, but you can also pray at the foot of the cross. So there's chairs there and people come in and sit down and the volunteers pray with them. So we have some form of, and we don't force it. We don't force anything on anyone. We understand that there are people that are homeless from every denomination, but we want to offer the truth. Somebody said to me, well, you may not make a lot of money because you're not inclusive. You should give the Quran away. And I said, the only thing that we will be giving away is the Bible, is the truth. I said, there are thousands of different religions. Should I give away little Buddhas and snakes and whatever else people want to worship? No, here is the truth. The Holy Bible is, and you don't have to take it. You don't have to, but it will be there for those. This year we gave away 633 Bibles. That is amazing because you never know when someone is going to open that Bible. And right there, it's the living word, and God will talk to them in that minute. And so we let it known that, you know, Christ is the center of the entire event.
I saw that you had, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, go ahead.
I saw in the video, there was big stacks of coats and shoes and boots and things. Do stores donate those or do you collect those from people?
So here's the thing, they're mostly churches have donation drives for us, like they'll have donation drives for mittens or hats or coats or sleeping bags. So we have this is a community, we have very few major, Thrive-In is a big supporter, Chick-fil-A, but those are Christian, you know, organizations. But many churches, our volunteers are from congregations, and a lot of our stuff comes from churches, so. Yeah.
I'm just curious about your background. This is amazing stuff.
Thank you.
What's your background?
My background has nothing to do with this, so this is, I think my qualification is that I listened to God and he led me, because what I do is I work for a pregnancy resource center, so for life, you know, the dignity of life. And I do that's my day job, and so I work with babies and mothers, and this was just, I don't even know what to say, like, there's no quality, God has done this. And I learn along the way, every year we learn something new and figure out how to get it right.
Well, the work you do is a ministry, so that kind of explains it.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, she had a question back there, and she's had her hand raised or something.
Thank you. I know this is obviously geared to people experiencing homelessness, but I would imagine there are many people, even if they have a home or a place to stay, who still need a warm coat, or they need, you know, social services, or whatever it might be. So can others come, or is it really just for those experiencing homelessness?
No, it's geared for people experiencing homelessness, but I've had people call me, we had a family of 17 that was there that lived in a 1-bedroom house. You may not be homeless, but you're experiencing something, and so we never turn anyone away. I've had, you know, veterans that live on $20, $30 a month. They may have a place to live, but they still need help. So we market, you know, we gear it and invite people experiencing homelessness, but lots of other people hear about it and they call me and say, do you mind if I come down? And I had a group of women who were abused, and it's a abuse shelter, and they left with nothing with their children. And so, yes, they're welcome as well. So, yeah, everybody's welcome. Yeah. So.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around the number of people who you serve and then a helper per person. So has anyone ever either not had a buddy, or is there room for everyone in this gathering?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. You got to wrap your head around it. That doesn't know justice. Yes, God provides. Like again, we had 615 volunteers. We had over 3,000 people. Not everyone wants a buddy, first of all. But then once you kind of have gotten the person you're with comfortable, then you go out and get a new buddy, right? So it just, I'm not quite sure how it works. It just does, and everyone has, and I mean, you can see the people there praying with people and walking with people, and yeah, so, and everyone is happy. Like the Holy Spirit is in the place, everyone's happy, because I think it's a love and a dignity that they typically don't. I know it is because they've told me. And so they're just happy to be seen and felt and loved. And the volunteers are happy to be able to do it. And the Christian music is in the air, and it's so powerful. It's so powerful what God does at this event.
It's a one-day event. Do you have follow-up for the next 364 days with these people, or is it just a come and go event and?
So that's why we have the agencies there, right? We've had people go to treatment, we've had people go to shelters, we've had people get jobs. And so that at this point is all we can do. We take their telephone number and we try to text them. This is a new thing for us throughout the year, just a word of encouragement. But we don't have the capacity or the ability right now to be able to follow them. In a perfect world, and then maybe the end game for this is we would like to take 3,000 acts of kindness all over the country, because the homelessness in this country is out of control. And we'd like to have a building. And so what that would look like is, I don't know, then maybe we could do this all year and follow people. But right now we're meeting in coffee shops and on Zoom, so we don't have, we don't have the capacity to follow them all year, but I wish we did. But here's a lot of our guests come back, they repeat. So we know, like, I have a gentleman who cuts hair for us. He's a barber, but he's also experiencing homelessness, and every year he comes and works for us. And this last time he said, Danielle, I found a place, I found a resource there, and now him and his puppy, his dog, he has a dog that he brings with him everywhere. And that's another thing, their pets are their family in lots of times. So we have things for their pets, because that's all they have. And so he and his dog found a place, and so praise God. So we do hear stories that people come back, found jobs, got housing, and they come back to volunteer, they come back to help. So it's just, it's amazing what God is doing. Yeah. Go ahead.
If it's a one-day event, you must receive resources or supplies to distribute throughout the year. Where do you store it?
So somebody donated away at the warehouse in Plymouth. So he has 17,000 square feet. The name of the business is Knowledge Computer. He gives us a corner. And not only that, but he gives us pallets and pallet jacks and semis. And he has been such a blessing. And that's where we store it. The first year we were like, I don't think we can rent a storeroom anymore. We had to when we were outgrowing it, and it was a prayer within our group. And then he offered that. So that's where our warehouse is now. So we can take stuff all year, and we can take any amount. We have a place for it. That's been a blessing. So,
you mentioned getting invitations to a lot of shelters. But you also have mentioned something about encampments. What entry into encampments do you have? And are invitations shared in that context as well?
So encampments are tricky because they don't want to leave their things. The minute you leave your tent, somebody comes in and cleans you out. So this year we had a woman who she went to the encampments and one person would stay with their stuff, and she'd bring a group of people, and she did that all day. She just brought them back and forth. So, and then we send out invitations with street missionaries that go to encampments and work with the people in encampments. So they have invitations that they give out, but it's hard for them to leave their things. It really is. They'll get taken, so. Go ahead.
That kind of raises the question, when they come to this event, how are their things secured during that time? Or don't you know? I didn't.
So a lot of people experiencing homelessness, what they have is on their back. It's in their backpack, it's in their cart. They bring it with them, and so that is one reason why we give away huge backpacks, so they can put everything they get. And we offer snacks, their toiletries, everything is on their back, and they take it from shelter to shelter. So there are some people that live in a shelter for a period of time, like people serving people in Mary's Place. You can live there for a little while, but most people are in the shelter one day and you have to be out by 9 the next morning.
Do you set up like the day before?
Yeah, so the event's always the second Monday in December, and so on Sunday, this year we had 150, 200 volunteers come help us set up. So we rent semis and Dave gives us a couple, but we need I mean, so many truckloads of stuff. We bring it all down to the convention center and then volunteers help us set up. And so when we open our doors on the next morning on Monday, we're all set up and ready to go. That we have Christmas trees up and poinsettias on the tables and tablecloths, and we try to make it as beautiful as we can for them, and it's homey.
I was glad to hear that you said that you have some agencies that are represented at this gathering and to whom you can refer people who want to be referred. And can you describe the kind of agencies that are there?
Yeah. We have mental health agencies, we have addiction agencies, we have housing, jobs. There's things for veterans, there's things for domestic abuse, women who are trafficked, people who were incarcerated and are just trying to get back on their feet. There are so many different agents. There's legal aid. A lot of them, are trying to get a license or, need to. So there's law, there's Hennepin County is huge there. They offer lots of different things like blood pressure and Hennepin County Catholic Charities. The city is there in lots of ways. So there's lots of different, any resource they can think of is under that roof somewhere. So they have access to a lot of different things. And like I said, people have left 3,000 acts of kindness and gone to treatment. These treatment centers are ready to take them and help them get clean right there on the spot. So we've had several guests be whisked away to treatment, and prayerfully, they're still on that journey. And I know God will come back and we will get to hear testimonies of what we do now. But I know there's so many different things going on there that you could never see all of it, all of the impact and the difference it's making. So we just rely on people when they have stories to share them with us.
What is your greatest need? Like if we decided to do something to help you, would a financial gift be better than like mittens, or what is your greatest?
So our greatest need are coats and boots. And so if we have a financial donation, we can get coats for a discount. So we get a lot of donations, and we just buy the coats and have them shipped to our warehouse. And then it takes the stress off of people having to go out, and so there are a lot of financial, and we do the shopping so that people don't have to. Other than what the churches give us, we go out and buy the rest. And so that in itself is a whole thing, but we try to make sure our goal every year is 3,000. Because it's so at least 3,000 of everything so that everyone gets something, because it's hard to stand these past years, people stand in line for hours and then they get there and we don't have their size because we didn't have enough. And so that's the hard thing. So we would like to have enough of everything, every size, everything for everyone.
Any idea how many people are homeless, and what's going on with homelessness in this area? Is it increasing or decreasing, or?
It's increasing, and it really started increasing after COVID. Or during COVID and now after. So it is, and that's why our numbers went from 900 to over 2,700 in 1 year, And this year, it's growing even more. So it is, and it's an epidemic everywhere. I don't care where I travel, the homelessness in this country is out of control, and it is just really, really sad to see it. And so yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I'm glad we're able to help them, but I'm sad that the numbers keep growing. So
How do we make a donation, either through you, or do we contact someone else on your team, or how do you do that?
So two ways, I'm gonna pass out some brochures and, you can either make a donation through me. We have a PO box if you want to mail in a donation. There's a place you can do it online. There's a QR code here that you can scan. But yeah, you can mail it in or give it to me or do it online. But, please know that your donations, it takes a village, and to put this on is well over $100,000. And so, every donation, I have kids that give me bags of change, and they say, I want to help, and I take it to the bank, because every day, it's everything counts, and everybody. This is a cause that needs all of us. Go ahead, I see back there.
Can we donate it to the, excuse me, to the church designating it to Keystone?
I'm sorry,
Can we make a check to the church and designate it to Keystone?
To code it, yes, you can. You were in the right place at the right time. I've been paying bills and I overheard. Yeah, if you make a donation to the church, we can get it directed.
Good, go ahead.
What level of involvement are families with children as compared to adults, and what kind of percentages are you working with?
So we get lots of families on Sunday to set up, and I know my pastor says, I give you permission to go down and help instead of come to service today. And so the kids come, and one of the things we give away are hoodies. And so we tuck in the pocket a Bible verse. And so the kids will come down and on a postcard and write these Bible verses and decorate them. And so then who knows, whenever they're gonna put their hand in their pocket, but they'll have, a word that is special to them. So kids do lots of different things. We have a kids corner that a lot of kids, the Wayzata School District donated that corner. And so all donations from there were from kids. So it's really cool. The kids can get involved. Mainly, they're only about 20%, but it's mainly.
And how about those who are guests?
We have lots of kids that are guests. Yes. A lot of, so they will come, lots of 5 and unders, lots of babies, because they're not in school. Most kids are in school during that time, but their parents, we let them take, that is the only section, one of the only sections where you can take more than one. So if you have 2 kids at home, you can have 2 kids' coats. And so they can take what they need. A lot of that stuff is used. A lot of our clothing, all of our clothing, and our shoes are used, because we don't have, at this point, the means to give away clothes and shoes as well. So people donate clothes, and we just kind of set them out. And the last time I was there, a gentleman said, I'm so excited, I got my hair cut today and I found something to wear to my interview. So yeah, we take, hopefully that answered your question.
Do you have, for your specialty volunteers, any training or that you take them through? I heard you say earlier, you just welcome families to help set up, but how about the folks who are buddies, or any training that goes with that?
We do, we send out an email with all the things that we think you'll need to know to work with people experiencing homelessness. However, this year, we're working on a video so that we can send out the video ahead of time and you can watch it and just kind of get familiar with it, because our we want to serve with dignity and love. And I know there are situations where maybe it happened to me. I was in line, I was ushering the line and this woman yelled at me. And I just said to her, be happy, like, look at all this stuff, we're welcoming you. She rah, 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 but she came back 2 hours later and she said, I was looking for you to say I'm sorry. I am so grateful and we are so blessed for this. So just knowing how to not, go back at them, just with a kind word, with love. And trust me, when you give someone love, they'll give it back to you, even if they weren't intending to at the time. So.
Getting any insights in the solution for the homelessness, or any kind of larger political insights about what should be happening?
They need homes. There needs to be, I love that tiny home idea out here. I would talk to Valerie, who's in your tiny home here. She and I were next door together at a church, Lord of Life. And she was chronically experiencing homelessness. She had been homeless for years. And so offering that place I wish there were tiny homes everywhere. I personally think that's the answer, right? And then resources, getting the help that you need. And those are the things you need to survive. But then I really feel like changing people's hearts with the gospel and giving them hope and offering them a chance to know that, God forgives, and there's a lot of chips on shoulders and they don't know that they can be forgiven. And so just sharing that love with them and the truth. So, any other questions? So I'm gonna pass. Well, I'll let you take these as you want to, but one of these is, this is a pamphlet, and this kind of tells you everything about 3,000 Acts of Kindness, and our PO box is back here, and our contact information. And this is what we, well, sorry, I didn't grab that. Thank you. Thank you. This is what we used for churches for donations. We just kind of leave this out here and you can scan the QR code if you want to. If it's easier to mail in or give to your church, you can do that too. And I promise, if allowed, next year for your donations, I'll come back and show you. I'll do a small video of what the event looked like for this year, and you'll get to see the difference your prayers, and thank you very much, the difference your prayers and impact makes.
Has the event taken place this year yet?
No, it was December 11th last year, so we just so we started, we had our first team meeting last week, and so now we're starting to plan for it. It takes about a year to just gather everything and have the funds and do everything we need to do.
Is this the flyer that's best to pass out, or is it under the?
Either one, there's
Okay, yeah.
yeah, this is this tells about it. This is just a place to donate, but it's all on the back of there, so the back of that one. So yeah, so I promise I'll come back and share some testimonies and stories, and again, a short video of what it looks like. And hopefully maybe some of you will be there and you'll get to share what it looks like. So yeah. Any other questions? Right, well, thank you all for letting me share. I appreciate it. And if I can ask, if nothing else, if you're not able to donate in any way, please pray for us. We can only do what we do with the prayers of people. So we are in your prayer time, if you can think to pray for 3,000 acts of kindness and our guests, we would really appreciate that. So thank you.
Quoted in love is who you write a check to, but if you want to give it to Prince of Peace, but quoted in love in the memo on, then this is a check from the church for quoted in love.
Oh my God, thank you.
Would I
Thank you so much.
Speakers for the time, and if you're an organization, we want to donate to the organization.
That's very, very kind. Thank you. I was like that. Thank you all. Have a blessed day.